In this video, I'm going to talk about one thing that could be affecting your work-life balance, and the thing is, you might not even realize it. Hello there, welcome to Work Tips Pro. This is where we help you stand out and thrive at work. My name is Mukhtar. So I'm going to tell you a story, and I hope I remember this well. So I remember when I was about 7 or 8, there was a time my father used to travel a lot for work. On this Saturday, I was expecting my dad to come back home. So he would travel a lot for work, but he would always come back home on the weekend. So on this Saturday, I was waiting for him to come home, but he didn't come home at the expected time. Now, this was before cell phones were popular, so we couldn't just call him to find out where he was. And now it was getting dark. Still, my dad didn't come home. It got to a point that whenever I would hear a vehicle passing in front of the house, I would run to the window to check to see if it was my dad. And then I started to get really worried. The roads at that time were quite dangerous. Road accidents were quite common. Carjackings were rampant. And then all these thoughts started running through my head. What if my dad never came back? I remember feeling that at a very young age, that it has still stuck with me until today. More time passed, and then eventually I heard this car revving in front of our house, and then I heard my dad's voice, and I was elated, ecstatic, relieved. But that experience, that feeling of dread, of what if, stuck with me that I still remember it very clearly even today. Now, fast forward a few decades, I too have my own beautiful family. I have a wife and a daughter. Now, I too am traveling for work. As a matter of fact, I'm traveling a lot for work, but for some reason, I have this boundary that whatever happens, I need to be back home on the weekend. I could have easily traveled 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time, but for some reason, the line that I drew in the sand was basically, I must come home to my family every weekend. Now, fast forward again, I end up switching jobs and I don't have to travel at all. And I realized that there is a lot that I actually miss out on a daily basis. That brilliant turn of phrase that your child utters, an unexpected joke from your child, or even doing bath time. Now, at this point in my life, I'm now beginning to reassess whether I can ever go back to traveling a lot for work. Now, where is all of this going? I came across this article that says that your feelings about work-life balance is shaped by what you saw your parents do. Now, this is the main point of this video, and I'm gonna drive this point home with a few more points. And the first point is that you might accept what you saw your parents do as normal. So in my case, for example, I saw my dad travel a lot and come back home every weekend. And for some reason, that was my boundary, that whatever I did, I needed to be back home on the weekend. Another example is maybe you had a parent who used to work 70 hours a week. And when it's your turn to enter the workforce, you work nothing less than 55 hours. Because if you work anything less than 55 hours, you're gonna feel like you're a lazy slob. The standard 40 hours a week does not do it for you. You end up working overtime or maybe even taking another job. And doing this will affect your work-life balance. So the first point is you accept what you saw your parents do as normal. Now, for the second point, the reverse could also be true. Maybe you observed what your parents did and you decide to reject it. So for example, you had a parent who was a stay-at-home parent and you decide this is not the best fit for you and you decide to throw yourself into a career. That decision will affect your work-life balance. Now, the next point is that this accepting or rejecting can happen at a conscious level or at an unconscious level. So in my case, for example, I had this boundary that I would always come back home on the weekends, no matter how much I travel. Now, I never actually related this to my father doing the same thing. So it happened at an unconscious level for me. And the next point mentioned in this article is that we tend to be affected by the parents of the same sex. So a son is more affected by his father and a daughter is more affected by what they saw their mothers do. So I thought this article was really fascinating and it gave me some insights into some of my own behaviors and into some of my own decisions. So if you feel like you don't have a good work-life balance, consider reflecting on what you saw your parents do, your parents' perception of work-life balance, your parents' attitude towards work. Reflecting on this might give you some insights into what is affecting your own work-life balance. And this is not to say what your parents did was right or wrong. There's no judgment here. And the thing is, what could have been right for your parents may not necessarily be right for you. So the first point is to be aware of what you saw your parents do. And the next point is to see if that is affecting your work-life balance in any way. And if it is, then maybe it's time to make adjustments. Now, do you know that there's one thing that you can do that could improve your work-life balance right now? If you want to know what that is, click on the video that you're going to be seeing on your screen right now if you're watching this on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next video.